A glamorous Hollywood wife, a husband found dead in the backyard, and 6 months later, the hitman who did it murdered too. What started as a clean escape plan turned into a blood-soaked trail of betrayal and greed. This is the chilling true story of how Mary Ellen Samuels tried to outsmart justice and paid the ultimate price. In the sun-soaked suburbs of Los Angeles, where palm trees sway over quiet cul-de-sacs and the glitz of Hollywood hovers just over the horizon, a house on a peaceful street in the San Fernando Valley became the epicenter of a shocking, true crime tale. It was here that Mary Ellen Samuels, a seemingly unremarkable makeup artist, masterminded not one, but two cold-blooded murders. One of them her own husband. This is the twisted story of Mary Ellen Samuels, the so-called Black Widow of Hollywood, whose web of deceit, greed, and manipulation stunned a nation. Mary Ellen was, by all appearances, an ordinary woman. A freelance makeup artist with ties to Hollywood, she lived a comfortable life with her husband, Robert "Bob" Samuels, a cameraman and producer who worked in TV commercials. Together, they had a daughter and lived in a pleasant home in Northridge, California. To outsiders, their life might have seemed picture perfect, but behind the scenes, the marriage was deteriorating. Bob was growing tired of Mary Ellen's spending habits and alleged infidelities. Divorce seemed inevitable, and that's exactly what Bob was pursuing in late 1988. But Mary Ellen had no interest in splitting assets or losing her lavish lifestyle. Instead, she chose a more sinister solution: the first murder, killing her husband. On December 8, 1988, Bob Samuels was found dead in the backyard of his home. He had been shot execution style with 2 bullets to the back of the head. There were no signs of forced entry, no struggle, no apparent motive. Initially, it seemed like a mystery, perhaps a robbery gone wrong. But detectives soon noticed strange behavior from Mary Ellen. Just days after Bob's death, she went on a spending spree. She cashed in his $500,000 life insurance policy, bought a new truck, splurged on vacations, and began flaunting a new boyfriend, a younger man named Eric Hanson. Mary Ellen's demeanor was far from that of a grieving widow. She was partying, posing in revealing lingerie, and taking exotic trips. Investigators were suspicious, and they had good reason to be. The trail led to James Bernstein, a small-time drug dealer and criminal associate of Mary Ellen's boyfriend. Evidence mounted that Mary Ellen had paid Bernstein $25,000, money from the insurance payout, to murder her husband. She promised him more to come. It was a hit for hire. Loose ends. The hitman becomes the next target. But Mary Ellen wasn't finished. By mid-1989, Mary Ellen began to fear that James Bernstein might turn on her. He knew too much, and he was unstable. She couldn't risk the possibility that he'd crack under police pressure or simply demand more money. So she made another call. This time, she recruited her boyfriend, Eric Hanson, and another associate, Robert R.J. Cushing, to clean up her mess. On June 27, 1989, Bernstein's body was found in a remote area near Gorman, California. He'd been shot multiple times, wrapped in a sleeping bag, and left in the desert. The crime bore all the marks of a calculated execution. What had started as a plot to avoid divorce had spiraled into a cold and calculated double homicide. If you're still watching, you might as well like and subscribe. The investigation unravels the web police, noted Mary Ellen's lack of emotion after her husband's murder, and her sudden lavish spending, including cashing in a $500,000 life insurance policy. Investigators discovered Mary Ellen had recently changed Bob's life insurance beneficiary to herself and made large cash withdrawals before and after his death. Mary Ellen was dating Eric Hanson, who introduced her to James Bernstein, a small-time criminal. Police suspected she paid Bernstein to kill Bob. 6 months later, Bernstein was found murdered in a remote area, shot multiple times and wrapped in a sleeping bag matching one from Mary Ellen's home. Detectives weren't fooled. As the evidence piled up, so did the pressure on Mary Ellen and her accomplices. Phone records, witness testimony, and paper trails all pointed toward Mary Ellen as the mastermind. Eventually, Eric Hanson and R.J. Cushing turned on her, testifying that she had orchestrated both murders and paid them to carry out the second one. Mary Ellen was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. At trial, prosecutors painted a damning portrait of a woman driven by greed and vanity, someone who wanted to preserve her lifestyle at any cost, even if it meant taking lives. The trial and the death sentence. Mary Ellen Samuels' trial captivated the public. Her transformation from suburban housewife to femme fatale and killer fascinated the media. In 1994, she was convicted on both murder counts. She showed little remorse in court. The jury took just a few hours to sentence her to death. She was sent to California's death row, joining the rare but infamous ranks of female capital convicts in the state. To this day, she remains incarcerated at the Central California Women's Facility, awaiting execution in a state that hasn't carried out a death sentence in decades. Mary Ellen Samuel's story is one of the most chilling examples of suburban crime and manipulation. Her ability to manipulate the men around her, using sex, money, and promises, echoes classic noir tropes of the femme fatale. But in real life, the consequences were irreversible. She left behind a trail of destruction, a daughter without a father, families torn apart, and accomplices whose lives were ruined by her schemes. Her case remains a grim reminder that beneath the surface of even the most normal lives, darkness can fester, and sometimes murder wears a friendly face. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you.